Depending on the number of goats that you want to start with, you must have the money to buy the goats. If you are going to start with the local ones, you should be able to know that maybe it costs between 150 or 200 to buy a local goat. So if you want to start with, say, 10 goats, you should be able to have, let's say, 1.5 to 2 million shillings. That one is very key. That is one. The second aspect is you need to put aside some money to put up a simple structure of a goat. Now, I encourage people to use the available resources they have in their backyard. If you look here, you'll see, notice that I planted some trees along the fence. Those are part of those that I used to break, cut, and put as poles. Then I went ahead to look for used iron sheets and use them as roofing and also on the sides. I only incurred costs in terms of buying, let's say, nails and the hammer and so forth. So there's that little bit of money that you need when it comes to the structure. Once you have your animals on site, you are going to have some money that you're going to use to procure some medication. You must have a set of medication that you must have at your farm, because you're dealing with life. Just we say we have human life, we also have goat life. You know, they fall ill, they get sick, and they need that medication. Now, in order for you to stock the right medication, you're supposed to get in touch with your district vet officer or a vet that has been recommended to you by the people that are into goat farming that they know out there. He will tell you the basics that you can go for. So once you do that, you stock that medication and have it available. It will help you when a goat gets sick. It can fall sick on a Sunday when you cannot be able to call a vet, and you know the vets are not as many. He may be very far away, but you need to call him to treat. Or if he's not able to come, if you give him a phone call, he'll tell you to describe what the situation is, and he'll refer you to the medication that he told you. You're able to pick that and do what? And be able to treat your animal. That's very important. Then you are supposed to also have some money aside. It is important to budget for the vaccination of your goats. There are around the 5, 6, 7 killer diseases depending on the region where you are. And when you say region, you find that basically in Uganda we call it like one region. We also have the Kenyans, we have the Tanzanians, the other parts. So you find what is prevalent here as a disease may not necessarily be in another country. But here the vet officers, they'll be able to advise you and guide you on what to be able to vaccinate against, and you should be able to what to buy that medicine plan for that vaccination and have a vet come. So you'll find the vet will going to charge you differently per animal when he's doing that service and be able to have that money. But most important also, remember, it is a business. It takes a while to grow. That means you have to incur some labor in terms of herdsmen, meaning you have to put aside some money to pay for these herdsmen for a certain period of time. It might take you 2 years, depending on the numbers you've started with, before you can be able to what? Before you can be able to start selling off some animals. So you need to have this money, set aside and be able to support the animals. You might start with one he-goat, and then you find that it's not performing well. You need to add in another he-goat to create that competition and make sure that your goats are all conceiving. If it's happening in such a way that this animal, the he-goat that is present, is not performing well, you're going to find yourself needing to put in another he-goat so that you create competition. And these he-goats do not come in cheaply. When you're buying from within Uganda, a good he-goat, a pure he-goat, is going for 3 million shillings minimum. If you are going to import, because we have farmers that are importing goats from South Africa, it goes for $1,500, $1,600 US to import one pure buck from South Africa. So you need to keep that in mind. If you do not have the money to go for a pure, maybe you want to start with a he-goat of a certain percentage, maybe 87% or 92%, you can start with that, but know that it will also take you longer to reach the percentages in terms of bloodline that you would want to score at the end of the day. But at least you get an idea that that's the kind of money that you need to be planning around. So People say, no, you need to start with little money. Yes, but I think we need to be very clear. When you're going into farming, you need to have some money. Don't be deceived that you do not need money to do farming. Actually, when you don't have money, it's going to be very frustrating and very disappointing. I've been through a lot because for me, when I came in, of course, when the contract ended, I jumped in with what I had, but it has been really a furnace for me. But it's a learning curve, and that's why I'd like to advise people, and so that they don't go through these kinds of challenges as we venture into an enterprise like goat farming.